No, this is a statement of the city. Well, good morning, and everybody, and thank you for being here under such short notice. We wanted to address an issue that took place yesterday in the city of Norwalk and today as well. And we want to first make it clear that Immigration Customs Enforcement were not invited to Norwalk. They were not invited to use any facility in the city of Norwalk, including the police department parking lot, which we found rather inappropriate. And they were not given any opportunity to use any building or anything of that nature, and that the Norwalk Police Department was not involved in any of the activities conducted by ICE over the past couple of days. I wanted to make that clear because we understand there are a lot of people in the city of Norwalk who are very, very upset, very, very concerned. And it is incumbent upon us, the mayor, the council, the chief, the police department that we have here. It's incumbent upon us to communicate to the public that our job is to keep them safe, that we're in the city of Norwalk. We're going to protect every single right that they have, and we're going to make sure that they're not treated inappropriately. So I just wanted to clear that up in the beginning, and I'm going to read a statement from the city of Norwalk and from our council. So on Thursday, August 14th, ICE agents entered the Norwalk Police Department parking lot without prior authority or consent from the police department or the city of Norwalk. This prompted the police department to direct ICE to leave, as the department had no prior knowledge of their involvement or in their operations. Earlier this morning, on Friday, August 15th, the ICE agents returned to the police department, and again, without prior authority or consent from the police department or the city, the ICE agents were again prompted by the police department to leave the lot. Mainly because if they see ICE agents in the lot, people are going to assume that the police department is aware of and part of this activity. And I can tell you unequivocally that it is not true. Serious concerns have been expressed by city officials, those behind me and others, and the community regarding tactics utilized by ICE officers, including the use of face masks, plain clothes, and unmarked cars at a stark contrast from transparency and accountability traditionally practiced by the Norwalk Police Department. I can share with you that many years ago when I was the police chief, there was the state police were coming into Norwalk for drug enforcement activities. They wore masks. I immediately called the state police commander and told them they will not wear masks in the city of Norwalk because they are not identifiable. And people, especially law enforcement officials, have to be accountable for their actions, and they have to be identifiable to make sure that if something did go wrong, we can identify the officer that might have been the person acting inappropriately. Our goal is to ensure all residents are treated with dignity and respect, regardless of anyone's immigration status or background. The Norwalk Police Department remains a welcoming place where we encourage everyone to come to report a crime or seek protection. When crimes against immigrants go unreported, it can lead to negative consequences, including the perpetuation of criminal activity, a lack of justice for the victims, and increased fear within immigrant communities. The police department will continue to act in accordance with the Trust Act, which limits the information the state and local law enforcement can share with ICE agents and restricts the circumstances under which the Connecticut police officers can cooperate with federal immigration officers. City of Norwalk, Common Council, Police Department are working alongside Attorney General William Trump. I had a conversation with him this morning, Norwalk State Delegation, and community partners to plan upcoming public forums and share resources and information on how we can protect the community. I also want to tell the people in the community, there are resources, there are organizations that have printed resources outlining the rights that citizens, immigrants, undocumented or otherwise, have a right to. And we want to make sure that you reach out to them and gather that information so you know without a doubt, what your rights are. So that is the statement from the city of Norwalk. Want to ask if anybody has any questions. I have the police chief here that will, I'm sure, be able to help us with it.
Hello, I'm a private citizen. My name is Bernardo Torres. I have just one question, which is, my wife has a video of an ICE agent right in front of the movie theater, breaking the window of a pickup truck and then dragging the person out. My question is that an illegal act? Is that even a criminal act? And if so, I mean, why are those people not being arrested? I mean, because you're saying that.
Let me answer your question. Federal enforcement agents, especially ICE, have widespread jurisdiction. They have widespread authority to pretty much do whatever they need to do to accomplish their mission. If they have a warrant for someone, they are allowed to take that person into custody, and they are allowed to use reasonable means to make that happen. What you observed this morning, I'll ask the chief to address, but it was not a crime.
Good morning. Sorry, good afternoon. Yes, this morning, we were made aware of the arrest that did occur on North Main Street. Officers responded there subsequently, and we did tow a car from the scene that had smashed windows.
And she drove it away.
And we did recover.
Sorry, but that was with the daughter. She drove it away.
Thank you. It was secure because it was left in the middle of the intersection.
Yeah, they took.
Yes. So we did remove the vehicle from the intersection, and we did recover other evidence of what occurred, and we documented what occurred. But the responsibilities of the federal law enforcement officers, they respond to their chain of command on how they conduct their arrest.
So, if I understood correctly from the mayor's response, if they have a warrant, then it's not illegal. But they do have a warrant, right?
I can't answer that question because I'm not a federal law enforcement officer, so I do not know the particulars due to the fact that there's been no transparency or communication about the arrest this morning from the federal authorities.
Okay, so assuming that they do need a warrant, if they didn't have a warrant, then they would be.
I would just like to repeat that I have no information in regards to that arrest because when the federal authorities do law enforcement activities in Norwalk, they do not communicate previously, prior to the arrest or afterwards, so we don't know the circumstances of the arrest.
Under normal circumstances, any law enforcement agents or organization coming into the city of Norwalk extends the courtesy of letting us know that they're here, letting us know what they're going to be doing. Unfortunately, that is not the case. They've not let us know that they're coming into Norwalk. They had we had no knowledge of who they may be looking for. And that's their right to do that. But we would encourage them to let us know for the protection of the people they may be looking for, or the protection of the agents. We want to make sure that everybody in Norwalk is treated safely and appropriately.
Two-tier questions, David Michel, I'm going to pass. Two-tier questions in terms of addressing what's going to happen in the next few weeks or few days. Are you going to continue telling ICE to not use municipal infrastructure? And the second tier is, are you going to ask the governor?
Could you be a little louder, please?
Sure. Are you going to continue telling ICE to not use municipal infrastructure? That's the first part. The second part is, are you going to work with the governor's office and the state delegation in order to implement a better trust act?
Well, I believe the first thing you asked is, are we going to restrict them from using? Yeah. Well, they're not authorized to use any city facility. They are authorized, by the way, to enter any place that's open to the general public. So I know there was a concern about them going over to Vets Park. Well, Vets Park is a place that's open to the public. We're looking at, with our corporation counsel, with the Attorney General's office, we're looking at what restrictions can be imposed. Unfortunately, those restrictions are very few, if any. As I said, there are federal agents and they're authorized by the administration, the federal administration, to pretty much go wherever they want. And as far as the Attorney General and working with our state delegation, what we have to do is we have to plan strategy. We have to make sure our people in our community know exactly what their rights are, and we have to protect their rights. So I got off the phone with the Attorney General this morning, and we were talking. I want to thank the chief for arranging a meeting this morning with the council people to come and have the same discussion. So we want to make sure that the people in the city of Norwalk know exactly what the situation is, and knowing that we are not working with the activities of the ICE agents.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, as a private citizen, I see a few members of the Board of Ed. I am really curious to see if there are any plans in place to protect our students. We're about 2 weeks into going to class, and so I would love to hear what are the tactics and encouragement and recommendations for our city residents to be able to send their kids to school safely.
And that's an excellent question. I know we have Emily Morgan is here and school security here. We've had those discussions. In fact, when Dr. Estrella when we had an issue the last time when school was in session, I immediately called Dr. Estrella to ask if that had affected the student attendance, and to a little degree it did, but it came back rather quickly. It's my understanding, well, the schools are all locked. And if any agent comes to the school and wants to gain entrance, we have a process in place.
My name is John Kinney. I'm the school preparedness and safety officer for Norwalk Public Schools. We have protocols in place, and we have had them in place for some time now, where to address a situation should a situation occur where a federal authority would try to gain access to the school. Without going into too much detail, I just want to rest assured everybody know we take it very seriously. We protect our students, and we do have protocols in place to keep our students safe. Although that being said, just like every other entity, we cannot interfere with any federal law enforcement under legal jurisdiction.
Thank you.
One thing that is clear, if a federal agent does go to a school and wants to gain entrance, they're going to call the Norwalk Police Department, have the Norwalk Police Department come and ask what the business is and verify their authority to be where they are. Our schools are very sacred. Our children need to be protected. And I know that the Norwalk Public Schools has a protocol in place to do everything possible to make that happen.
My name is
Loud,
Rodrigo.
please.
My name is Rodrigo Torres, and I'm a private citizen, also a high schooler, so this issue is really important to me. And from what I've gathered from everything that I know about what ICE is doing right now, the line between what's technically legal and what isn't legal is extremely vague. So I'm honestly extremely concerned about the school year starting, and not necessarily ICE agents coming into our schools, but what's going to happen with everything around the schools when students try to leave and try to get on the school bus or try to get picked up. If there are going to be ICE agents standing right outside to pick them up, and that's an extreme concern of mine, knowing how many important and great people in my community are undocumented and how much that could affect our school. So what can be done?
Well, again, any place that's open to the public, they're allowed to be. School grounds during school hours and while school is being dismissed, they are not open to the public except for people that have an authorized business being there, such as a parent picking up a child, a school bus, a guardian picking up a child. We want to make sure that we work closely with our schools. We want to make sure that the students, as well as their parents, know exactly what their rights are under any set of circumstances. And that's critical to making sure that we're going to keep them as safe as we possibly can.
So is there anything that can be done with students who say walk home and leave the boundaries of the school premises?
Well, that's an issue. That's a problem. If the student is walking home, I don't anticipate, but we can't be sure. I don't anticipate any activities on school grounds or around the schools. I really don't think that'll happen, but again, we can never be too sure and we can never be too careful. All right, well, I do thank everybody for being here. Again, We just want to assure everybody in the city of Norwalk that we are here to protect them. We are not part of the immigration and customs enforcement operations. We have not invited them into the city of Norwalk. We have not invited them or authorized them to use any city facility. So when you see them in the parking lot, which we're very upset that they came back a second day. When you see them in the parking lot, or you saw them in the parking lot of the Norwalk Police Department, they were not there by invitation. And they were asked to leave, and they did. So
Mayor, I'm Tina Dury, a private citizen, yes. If ICE shows up again, like, how are we going to, it's gonna be something that every single morning the police chief has to go out there and talk to them and tell them to leave, or is there some way to preempt them from coming in the first place?
I spoke with the chief this morning and discussed a couple of strategies, asking him to take a look at what we can do. The parking lot is mainly for the police department. And of course, some people do park there, and some people, we've even found some people park there and use the train station, they go into the city, so they don't have to pay for parking. But this chief is working on that with his team to find out exactly what can be done to, as you say, preempt their entry into that section.
May I add something?
Yeah, but
This morning, myself and Mayor Rilling had a long conversation with federal authorities, voiced our displeasure with the use of the parking lot 2 days in a row. The use of the parking lot is not suitable for their enforcement actions. We want to provide a welcoming atmosphere for anybody, regardless of immigration status, to come to police headquarters. It's used 24 hours a day for victims of crime, police services, and what that does is it deters people from coming in there when they see that. We don't want that. So we have 2 conversations with them. Hopefully the message was conveyed.
Hearing from the people on the ground, some people are suggesting to treat it like a pandemic on the state level and shut down the courts and go back to virtual, for example. Is that something you could or would support with this effort with the state and state legislation?
That would be a decision from the state of Connecticut judicial division, not a local decision. That's a definitely state of Connecticut judicial.
Do you support the idea of the state delegation?
There's many variables in regards to shutting down the court that need to be weighed in regards to the pandemic style that you suggested.
all right, so again, thank you. You have council people up here, and you have contact information. If you have concerns, you certainly can call the police department. You can call my office. You can email or text the council people, and whatever information you impart to them, they will make sure that we know it and that we will determine what our response has to be. So make sure that you have the information about your council people.
After hearing your nonprofit, just trying to see as far as churches are concerned.
Churches?
Yes, should we be, it would be alarm or should we be on notice or vigilant as far as?
If you
I have
recall,
undocumented.
churches used to be a sanctuary. Under the new regulations for ICE, they are no longer sanctuaries. Hospitals are no longer sanctuaries. I don't, again, we don't anticipate any problems at the schools, but we want to make sure our schools are safe.
So do we call law enforcement if we do have ICE show up? How are we looking?
Anytime there's a concern about an activity of ICE, our police department is here for you to rely on, to call and to gather any information or to help in any way that they can.
Okay.
But listen,
I just am curious about just the aid portion of this. I think about the children who aren't impacted, but just have the anxiety of hearing these things, they don't understand what's going on. Mental health resources that the city offers for families, and I know you said that the data is very hard to come by. We know that some of our citizens are going to appointments at the Stanford courthouse and not coming home, and then they're maybe losing their breadwinner in the family. So can you just talk about some resources that the city of Norwalk offers, or maybe some nonprofits, we can reach out to provide aid if we come across families that need it?
Well, as you know, we now have a community services division, which deals with those kinds of issues, and Lamont Daniels, our chief of community service, is, well, I can't say enough good things about him. But we also have family navigators, that we're using go to the city to provide resources for families in distress. This certainly is a case for that. The police department has embedded social workers, available to them. And now every other Friday morning, there's a Zoom meeting or a conference call with all the city providers, overseen by Lamont Daniels. And they share resources and they talk about things that are available. So the first thing to do is Lamont Daniels in our community services office or the police department, who can guide anybody or provide the services that they need. But we do have a tremendous amount of services available in the mental health area for people who are distressed, people whose families may have been broken up, and so we have a lot available. Okay, well, again, thank you all for being here. This is your council. They have been on top of things with us, and we want to make sure that you know the resources that are available through them as well. Thank you.